Hello, everybody, and welcome to AAOL. We're in Season 4, we're in Stage 2, and I think we're up to... Wow, what week is it now?
Three.
Week 3?
Yes, week 3.
Okay.
It's a quality week. Very exciting.
Well, can you tell me how... Well, we're in Group D for tonight's match between Big Brain Gamers and Wakanda, but Queso, can you tell me what happened in Group C this evening?
In Group C, I know that my team Quest just lost to Team Regicide, which is a real
My
upset.
condolences.
I'm really sad. We're cut up about that, but well done at Regicide. Have to check the scores on what else has happened, but let's talk about this game because I'm very excited. Excited to get in. What do you know about these teams, Swift?
So my understanding is that Wakanda are currently undefeated in this stage, while Big Brain Gamers, I think, have lost one of their matches. So Wakanda probably the favourites. They're currently leading their group in this stage, Group D. So I would say Big Brain Gamers definitely have a chance in this one, but Wakanda probably are the favourites heading into this one. And the first map, of course, is going to be Nepal.
Yeah, very much excited. Hopefully that the stage could become an even playing field here, because this is a really big game, as you said. Wakanda, if they potentially lose that, then they become equal with their opponent here, Big Brain Gamer. So it's a pretty intense match, I reckon we're going to have. And already, though, the team comps coming out look like the sort of bunker-style comps, both with running the Orisa Hog. What do you think of that Farah pick on the side of Wakanda, Swift?
Generally, I'm not a fan of Farah, especially at this point of Nepal, but I'm not going to write anyone off just yet. I am pleased to see both teams running for that Orisa hold, makes things a little bit interesting. Hanzo, of course, very powerful in the current meta, and I should just note too that in AAOL at the moment we're not playing Hammond, so...
Yeah, he's in next week, I believe.
That will be interesting.
Definitely.
Certainly, Hammond in comp games has been interesting. So, swings here on this Farah for Wakanda. Okay, well, that's a pretty big halt in there from Train Cat to start things off with. Cordial does get an important pick on that Farah, I guess, but I think that team fight is already lost there from Big Brain Gamer.
Yeah, and you can see that Weebs does resurrect Twinks up, so fortunately they're going to be in full strength on the point, and they're going to set up here. That was a really good fight, and that halt, as you said, was really the main attraction there.
Well, it's very decisively won on the team fight. Riptire now does come out from Seth with the human. Looking around at the back to go onto the point, but Fizz on that Soldier 76 is able to take it out. So Wakanda's still in control of the point here, and Cordial on this Hanzo is getting a lot of mileage on that hero, getting a few important picks, but not enough for his team to find a way in. The Dragon Strike there does come out, as does a Tactical Visor. But Fizz is taken out before he's able to do anything with that Tactical Visor, so that's going to be the cue for Big Brain Gamer. Come onto the point and try and find something. Webb, does get a pick. Does get a res onto Fizz, and Fizz gets a pick on the Cordial, so it's important. Trades coming in on both sides. Fizz gets another kill onto Desmond, and a res does come out of the Cordial. Fizz is doing a lot of work here, but it looks like Cordial and Seth the Human on those DPS heroes might have done enough to take the point in favour of Big Brain Gamer, and they're just finishing it off now. Killing Webbs on that Mercy, Queso.
Yeah, what I find really interesting there was that Big Brain Gamer definitely had the advantage going into that fight, and yet they took a long time getting onto the point. They played the slow game, and it worked out in the end, but I reckon if they ramped up the aggression, they could have had a few more control percentage. As you see, there Wakanda did manage to get up to 72 before conceding the point.
So both of these teams are playing very well, and that's another Dragon Strike there coming out from Cordial. But Rocket Barrage comes out from Twinks and gets Cordial, but he gets taken out in the act. And so even trades on both sides now. Cordial does get resurrected, so important res, but Train Cat on that Orisa gets an important pick on just the human. A halt comes out from Vizra. It's Billy time. It's a brawl on the point now, but it looks like Big Brain Gamer might have just done enough to take this team fight and continue building that control percentage.
I'll definitely hear what's going on is whoever gets the most successful hook, the hooks and the pulls, the Orisa mini grabs, is really the team that's able to take it away, I think. And as you can see, again and again, Vizsla is always coming up with those clutch picks right at the end, and it's paying dividends for Big Brain Gamer.
Alright, so nearly even at the moment on this control percentage. I think Wakanda will want to take this team fight if they are going to win this round. Seth the Human does get taken out while in the act of pulling out his Riptire. Riptire does connect onto DMT, but DMT does get resurrected there and is able to use that Moira ultimate. So a bit of a brawl again happening on the point now. Train Cat does take out the opposing Arista's ultimate supercharger. Tactical Visor does come out from Fizz. Hasn't found anything with it yet, but his teammates are doing work as Mercy and Hanzo do get taken out for Big Brain Gamer. Lots of trades happening. This is a very even team fight, but that's going to be a very big rocket barrage coming out from the side of Wakanda, and that's done enough to flip the point on 99%, and they will continue to build their control percentage.
Yeah, that's not too big of a deal for them. I think that sorry, that's not too big of a deal for Big Brain Gamer, rather. They've got 99, so hopefully they can come back. They've got a couple of ultimates building, they've got the dragon, so they could make good use of this, and it looks like they're gonna... there's got a bit of poke in the side alleyway, so maybe they'll take a flanking route.
The other important thing to note here is Wakanda have used absolutely everything in that last fight, so they've got no ultimates here to try and hold the point. So it's going to be another dragon strike there. Coming out from Cordial. Hasn't found anything, but there is a trade happening on the point, and Big Brain Gamer has the upper hand early in this team fight, and that resurrect onto Vizsla is going to be an important one as Cordial falls off the map. Something happened there, the Riptide does come out from Seth the Human, and that might be enough to secure the retake of the control point. 99% in overtime, but no one's able to get back to the point, and it's going to be Big Brain Gamer taking the first round on Paul.
Yeah, that right there was the power of the whole hog. You saw the half of Wakanda was absolutely denied access to the point with that whole hog because, as you know, that knockback just really is punishing. It's brutal. It's got such a range, and there's not much they could do. Everyone fell into that bottomless pit, and Big Brain Gamer stole the point and that first map on Nepal. Pretty good.
So, yeah.
Sorry, I cut you off.
No. So I was just thinking, we don't often get a chance to see... I mean, historically in AAOL anyway, the way that it's worked, we haven't often seen games this close, but especially since this new grouping system, these games are a lot better to watch, and I think that's what we're seeing here. Both of these teams very evenly matched, and they're both working really hard, and so definitely good to see. Fizz gets an early pick there onto Cordial on that McCree, so that's going to be a good way to start the team fight. Webbs is getting challenged on that Mercy though. Might be a bit of an even trade, but it looks like Big Brain Gamers have a slight advantage at the moment, but Train Cat Train Cat on that Zenyatta was getting some important picks, and Twinks gets a kill on the Genji onto that Reaper, and they're going to start building up their control percentage.
Yeah, I think here a little bit of the problem that Big Brain Gamer is facing is that they become a little bit split when the fight starts, and that's a real issue that they're suffering, and I think that they're going to struggle with unless they can play more together.
Trading very evenly again here, lots of ultimates coming out. Earth Shatter came out from Vizsla, the Pulse Bomb came out from Fizz. That happened very quickly, and I'm not really sure that it probably does look like at this stage Wakanda just pressuring Big Brain Gamer back into their spawn area, and so they'll keep building their control percentage. So it is, I do note on the side of Big Brain Gamer some big ultimates coming up for them. Diva Bomb, Reaper ult, the Death Blossom, and of course Valkyrie.
Yeah, and I think that fight that we just witnessed was very much what I was saying there. When Big Brain Gamer get into a fight, it becomes very fragmented, and they get picks, but they also get taken down, and Wakanda just have that bit more coordination that allows them to stay together and stay up.
Fizz on the Tracer there does a lot in getting that kill on Cordial. The Death Blossom comes out from Seth the Human, and it finds 4, including that Diva remix. Fizz throwing out a Pulse Bomb, not sure what he thinks he can do. trying to take back a team fight after losing so many at the start. So it's definitely very good use of that Death Blossom.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether you saw it, but it looked like the Death Blossom was booped by, I'm fairly sure it was the Primal Raging Winston. I'm not entirely sure. There was some element of boop, perhaps it was the Diva boosters. And he just went even further into the enemy lines, and that was just absolutely devastating. Got an extra couple of picks because of it, so well done.
Wakanda looking very disciplined as they come in very quickly together. The Dragon Blade does come out from Twinks, but they have lost DMT on that Winston early. Earth Shudder comes out from Vizra, still nothing else, but Cordial finds a kill onto Twinks. Vizra finds a kill onto the Diva, and it looks like Big Brain Gamer have won this team fight, and they're going to keep building that control percentage. So even if they are losing these team fights, they did lose a couple of ultimates there, Wakanda, but they are being disciplined. They're grouping up and they're coming in each team fight without wasting much time, and that's always good to see.
Yeah, I'd say so. Making sure that you don't just use everything and you know, blow all your ultimates for no payoff is certainly a really good thing, and it definitely shows that Wakanda is coordinated and that they're talking to each other, which is fantastic.
So the rally comes out there from Desmond as they're starting to build up some armor. Wakanda coming in from the left-hand side of the point now. Fizz does throw out that pulse bomb, but it doesn't actually connect onto anybody. The Diva bomb comes out from Billy Time, and it does find Desmond. So they found the opening that they're looking for, but Vizra on this Reinhardt is putting a lot of pressure on Billy Time on that Diva, doing a lot of work, just took out Cordial. Twinks on the Genji gets a kill onto Seth the Human on Reaper, and Vizra swinging his hammer around, trying very hard. But Refined Venus on that Mercy does get a resurrect before getting taken down. And that team fight is all but over now for Big Brain Gamer, as overtime gets ticking in. So probably one team fight left here, and Big Brain Gamer are going to need to group up quickly now to get back in.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's going to be really tough for...
They do have Earth Shatter, and they do have Reaper Ultimate, but Twinks on the Genji takes out Vizra and gets two with that Dragon Blade. Refined Venus trying to get a resurrect last stitch off there, but wow. A very big Dragon Blade there from Twinks after getting that Reinhardt with Earth Shatter. And so Reinhardt had Earth Shatter and Reaper had Death Blossom, but they were dead before they had a chance to use them.
Yeah, very unfortunate. Not too sure really what happened there. I think there was a couple of transcendences. It just became visually very hard to follow, but I think you're right. There was an element of a hammer down that just caused chaos, and as a result, Wakanda were able to seal the deal and get their equalizing point on Nepal, so well done.
So, you might be able to sense my excitement now as both teams are opting to run Doomfist on this point. We're also seeing Cordial now on that Pharah, Refined Venus on that Lucio, so no mercy on the side of Big Brain Gamer, but these Doomfists are out in force now. As Vizra gets an important pick very early onto Fizz as Benzi takes out Train Cat, so they're going to be down both supports now. Winston's getting those crucial picks. Seth the Human there on Doomfist getting another couple of kills, and that is going to be a very decisive team fight win early from Big Brain Gamer as they start building control percentage.
Yeah, well done there to Big Brain Gamer for playing really close together, taking full advantage of their AoE healing from the Vegeta, and the Wakanda's dive. It was, you know, great in theory, but as you saw, it was completely shut down by the sort of death ball-y style comp that they got here. Two main tanks and a brigade, so a lot of healing, a lot of shield.
And Wakanda have decided to change their team comp up quite significantly going into this second team fight. So they're going to be down on that ultimate percentage. But, well, they're all dead before they can get in, and so only needed to use that, called the
hammer, no, not hammer down. Meteor Strike.
Meteor Strike, that's the one. So, I guess they're in a difficult position now here, Wakanda, because they are quite significantly behind on their ultimate charge in the ultimate game, so You're gonna have to
Your
pull out something
supply has
special to try and
arrived.
take control of this point. As the rally comes out from Desmond. Vizra getting very aggressive, bringing out the Earth Shatter, catches two! He gets them both with Seth the Human on the Doomfist, getting a pick onto both of the tanks of Desmond, finding webs on that Mercy. So we're kind of finding it very hard to get a break here on this round of Nepal.
Big Brain Gamer are really here, just asserting their dominance with this very, very nice composition, lots of shields, and plenty of AoE healing for everyone to be kept up nicely. And again, very good coordinated ultimate usage, 1 or 2 ults per fight, and they've got multiple coming up for this final or potentially final fight.
And both Reinhardt's a bit of charged into each other. Seth the Human does get a very early pick onto Train Captain, so that's going to have a big impact on the fight, and it does because
I am
while
securing
that
the
brawl was
objective.
happening over there, Wakanda did get control of the point, but it's not going to be enough as the overtime starts ticking off. Big Brain Gamer so disciplined, working together so well on Nepal Queso.
Well, yeah, it looked like a little bit of a rocky start. I reckon that the Sanctum map was a little bit, was probably their weakest map, but you know, then they clutched it out on this final map, and I think that it really shows that their sort of novel comp was working, and that they got a lot of value, and in the end took the map. So congratulations to Big Ben Gamer going 1-up in this 3-map series.
So they are the underdog
Clear skies
coming
ahead.
into this match against Wakanda. Wakanda undefeated in this stage, so good start for Big Brain Gamers on this first map, and so we'll be going to map 2 in just a moment. Welcome back, and we're onto the hybrid map now, and we are in Numbani. And Queso, you were telling me yesterday how much you hate this map.
Yeah, I do. I really don't like this map.
Okay, but to be fair, no one would care about what you think. Just sort of make that point. I don't know. I think there's probably a lot of people out there who agree with you.
I don't know. I just think that it's such a strange... It's very unique in its layout because of this first point being attackable in, I would argue, too many directions. There's so many avenues and ways to get in and around the point for the attacking side that it becomes a real nightmare for a defensive team to set up.
Okay,
You can essentially go anywhere.
Yeah. And perhaps you might want to share with our audience this evening what's in the sandwich that's in front of you at the moment.
Oh my god. I'm really excited to eat it, okay? I'm sorry. It's great. Look, it's got ham and salami and tomato, cucumber, some jalapenos, some capsicum, cheese, a little bit of salt and pepper. Always season your food, everyone. And
I will concur with that point.
I'm really excited to eat it, alright? Just leave me alone.
Well, before everyone gets bored to death, it'll be Wakanda on the attack on this round. And from both sides, I guess it's pretty standard compositions. Divey with the Winston Diva. Well, Genji on both sides. Cordial opting for that Widowmaker, was on Hanzo a little bit earlier, and, well, the Widow pick pays off early because Train Cat gets taken out and instantly resurrected by Web, so holding them up just a little bit here on their attack.
I mean, yeah, looking at these comps, are we back in Season 9? Like, oh my gosh, both these teams running full dive compositions, and it's great to see.
Alright, so that Winston, DMT diving in early and gets an early pick there onto Seth the Human, and that will get the ball rolling in this team fight. Billy Time on the Diva is able to take out Desmond on that Zenyatta, but Vizro gets a trade pick onto Twinks before getting taken out himself by the enemy Winston. So looking very good here early now for Wakanda as Fizz gets a pick onto the Mercy, and Train Cat gets his revenge on Cordial. And they'll start moving the payload.
Yeah, that was a really neat team fight there, and really DMT creating so much space for his team, diving in exactly where he needs to, knowing when to pull out, when to get his healing up from Weebs, and great job. I think that was a very concise team fight and a real display of what you need to do on this map if you want to win as an attacking side.
And
So,
as
well
a
done.
result, they're going to have a very healthy time through the strength phase of Nirvani. And, well, Billy Time does get punished for pushing up a little bit there, as does DMC on that Winston, but I don't know, doesn't really matter that much. This payload's still moving, and it's been moving freely for a little while. Cordial does get a pick onto Train Cat now, so Wakanda are going to have to back off a little bit back to spawn and regroup.
Yeah, I think that they're what Wakanda was more or less trying to do, I think, was to sort of clean up the kills that were perhaps struggling back, but they had left at such a long time that, you know, Big Brain Gamer had enough time to essentially regroup, so they were, you know, going fractured in, and they were gonna lose that, so perhaps something to consider for the future.
Infra side is out now for Cordial on the side of Big Brain Gamers. But they're not really putting any pressure on Wakanda as they're pushing this card around the corner. To point B. So Seth the Human does bring out that Dragon Blade and gets a pick onto Train Cat. Nothing really follows up. Vince does try for a pulse bomb but doesn't get anything, and it's going to be Seth the Human with Twinks with a Dragon Blade of his own, taking out Seth the Human. A couple of resurrects for both sides, but Twinks on this Genji is making a real impact now as they are trying to push the cart just a little bit further to point B. And well, it's just Mercy now stalling out the point, and they are going to set a blistering fast time now with 5 minutes left to push the cart to point C.
Yeah, I reckon Seth the Human's going to be pretty unhappy there. He did so much to initiate for his team to make that payload stop, but DMT and Twinks, both working really hard, managed to clean up a lot of the Big Brain Gamers back line, and Fizz as well. Great tracer plays to ensure that Wakanda came out ahead, and as you said, 4 minutes to push this. It's not very far. It's a great showing.
Cordial too on this Widowmakers. You're getting a lot of important picks as well, but it doesn't seem like Big Brain Gamers on this map have been able to follow up on them. The Dragon Blade once again comes out from Twinks, but he gets absolutely smacked in the face by Vizra on that Reinhardt. And with 4 minutes left, they are going to need to regroup a little bit, but they've got plenty of time to push the payload, which in what looks like could only be a few meters.
Yeah, absolutely. That was great play there from Vizra. Just had his hammer out and was cleaning up everything as the fight got a bit scrappy towards the end there, trying to push those desperate few extra meters to finish out the map, and you know, you lose sight a bit, you tunnel vision, and Vizra was there to level-headed and was there able to clean everything up.
And Cordial brings out the infra sights, able to get a click onto the head of Fizz, and that's going to hold things up here for Wakanda. Very good work. And as a result too of Vizra being a bit aggressive on that last fight, he's going to have the Earth Shatter for the next fight. Both sides though do have a lot of ultimates in the bank, as that Primal Rage comes out from DMT, got pressured a little bit there while dueling with Cordial on the Widowmaker. Gets pressured a little bit from the Zenyatta at the back. So Wakanda are now looking for an entry. As the Earth Shatter comes out from Vizra, doesn't find anything. The Mercy Ultimate, the Valkyrie, comes out from Webs. But Dragon Blade comes out from Seth the Human, and once again he's going to get an early couple of picks with it. Twinks does find the kill onto Cordial though, and the Resurrect does come out onto DMT, but it might be too little too late. Desmond does get a pick from the back onto Twinks. So I think Wakanda are going to have to back out now. We've lost too many members. Sort of got overrun a little bit early in that team fight there, Queso.
Yeah, and I think another thing was that everyone was using their ultimates there. As you were commenting beforehand, they had a couple in the bank, and at the end you see that they've used all but one for both sides, so they've really splurged a bit, I would say, and yeah, that's unfortunate. Looks like, though, Wakanda's going to take a back route this time, as Twinks gets a very important pick on Cordial to start this fight off.
He does, but they're going to need to follow up with another kill. Vizra does get an Earth Shatter now online once again for this team fight. Twinks is able to get a pick onto him while he's low. The trades do come out as the Resurrect. So, a little bit shaky now for Wakanda. Webbs does get taken out with a hammer in the face. Instant DMT charged by Vizra as the Diva Bomb comes out. Fizz with the Dragon Blade gets a kick onto Vizra. There's the sniping counterpart on Wakanda. Fizz also gets a D-neck there onto Benzi, and DMT with that Primal Rage gets a pick onto Seth the Human. So they've only got to push it just under 3 meters now, but Cordial gets a pick onto Fizz on the Genji. Twinks and Billy Time getting important picks now. They've got so close, but the Earth Shatter is online for Vizra. So he's going to need to come up with something big here, and he does get an Earth Shatter, gets Baby Diva. But he does get taken out from the back line by Train Cat, who just used Transcendent. So, looking a little bit difficult now for Wakanda to find their way in, as the respawns do come through from Big Brain Gamers. So they're just poking and prodding now, looking for an entry. There's not really any ultimates online for either side. Pulse Bomb will be online shortly for Cordial, as will a Primal Rage for DMT. And so, sort of just looking now. Fizz is looking to build that Dragon Blade, but 2 important picks there. Both supports down on the side of Big Brain Gamers. Wakanda doing so much work now. Fizz on this Genji does get a Dragon Blade, and he won't ever need to use it because Seth the Human, unfortunately, just stepping off the point there, and they will complete the attack round, but not with the time bank that they could have, Queso.
Yeah, I think that the fatal mistake there was Wakanda got really used to having that Valkyrie Mercy's healing beam up. As we know, Mercy has in the most recent patch had her healing nerfed a little bit, so down from 60 to 50 healing per second. So when that Valkyrie is up, it's more important than ever because it's really keeping a lot of people up that Mercy otherwise wouldn't be able to heal. And they had it for that final fight. Second fight. It could have been their final fight, but ultimately it ran out, and all of Wakanda was so deep, and Big Brain Gaming were getting their respawns in, still, staggering onto the point, but they didn't have that. Wakanda didn't have that Mercy's Valkyrie healing anymore, and as a result, everyone got low so very quickly, and Big Brain Gaming were able to push them back, if for a couple of seconds, potentially up to a minute. So yeah, I think that you need to factor in those balance changes and the patch notes and stuff, because yeah, I think it makes a big difference.
Twinks did get very deep in that last team fight as well, and I think that's what you would like to see on that Genji. He's taking a few risks, and he didn't really get pressured very much from Big Brain Gamers, so he was able to just punish a little bit. And then, of course, he charged up that Dragon Blade very quickly and didn't even need to use it in the end. So, good work. And it's good, too, that both of these sides, well, probably more so for Wakanda, is that they are willing just to switch their composition up when something's not working.
Yeah, and again, flipping sides now, and it looks like Big Brain Gamer are going to run a Farah instead of the Tracer or a Widowmaker, which is going to be a really good advantage for this app. I think that it has a lot of aerial superior positions that the Farah will get a lot of use of.
Twinks and Fizz on McCree and Reaper respectively, but Train Cat does get picked off early. The Resurrect does come through, but some very good kills there from Fizz and Twinks, doing a lot of work, holding off the challenge for Big Brain Gamers, and Thought once Big Brain Gamers got that early pick onto the Zenyatta that they might be able to push in and capitalize on that a little bit, but they weren't able to. And so Big Brain Gamers back to the drawing board.
Yeah, and as you said, it was looking like they had an opening with that pick onto Train Cat, but Weebs did get a very risky res, but it did pay off, and in the end, that extra healing, that Discord for the additional damage, really paid a lot of dividends. And now it looks like Cordial is going a flanking route through the back. That's a potential option, but Twinks is there to stop her in her tracks.
Billy Tonyo wasn't able to get back in neck after that team fight, and so he gets taken out early. Fizz does get an important Death Blossom kill onto the Mercy. Seth the Human deflects it right back in his face, and so trading evenly now, but there's no healing out on the side of Big Brain Gamers, so that's a slight advantage here. Although, it doesn't look like that Wakanda has been able to keep up in this team fight. The Diva does come back on the point to try and challenge a little bit. It's going to get demacked quite quickly now, and so it's just a matter of Wakanda wanting to stall this out a little bit. I don't know that there's anything that they can do now, but they do commit the Primal Rage. As the second pick is on the board. Perhaps they are going to look to come in here now, as that Deadeye comes out from Twinks, but he gets a Diva Bomb right in the face. Fizz gets a pick onto Benzi on the Diva, and the Resurrect does come out onto Twinks now. So perhaps Wakanda can find a way to hold off the point as they bring out a self-destruct of their own, and it finds Vizra mid-air. So both sides poking and prodding each other once again, looking for a pick. Fizz and Billy can't both get that kill on the audio there, and that's a huge Pulse Bomb from Fizz to save the fight. Getting both of supports, but Seth the Human with a Dragon Blade, and he does find two members of Wakanda, so the Resurrect is going to come out there from Train Cat, and that's... Okay, so that's a very good hold there from Wakanda. I didn't know... I didn't think they were going to be able to do that.
Yeah, that there is, I think, a classic case of how you can use your ultimates, like one after each other, trickling back onto the point to make the enemy team a little bit confused. And as you know, the spawn advantage comes through as they're coming on to the point. So well done to Wakanda.
So feels like now Big Brain Gamers are just looking a little bit desperate now as they come into the point straight away. Perhaps they think if they lose this team fight, they might get another one afterwards. Their Mercy's getting dangerously low, but they do find a few early picks, and Vizra with that Primal Rage is able to find two. DMT gets a pick of his own onto the Mercy, and I think it looks like now Big Brain Gamers might have just done enough to take this point. They are battling with a Primal Rage and Winston on the point who gets taken down. Fizz on the Tracer is looking to do a little bit. We get some heals, and that Pulse Bomb does come out, doesn't find anything, and I think Big Brain Gamers are now on their way to pushing the cart through the streets.
Yeah, and just back to that last fight that they had there, I think that what you saw there is how you can use the fact that you have to it takes time to cap that point. You know, it's a percentage amount of like control percentage point basically, and if you concede a couple of ticks, but you have like one or two bodies on the point, you use one or two ultimates, you can get, one pick, two picks as your entire team is regrouping, coming back, and then they also have their ultimates, and you can repel your attacking side, and that's exactly what they did. And it was a very good display in my opinion, so Wakanda should feel very proud, even though in the end they did see that point.
Early trade in this team fight as the Dragon Blade does come out from Seth the Human, and that's a lot of picks to start this fight from Big Brain Gamers, and of course they had a lot of ultimates online, and they've committed two of them now. So I think they are going to be able to capitalize on that, although forget about the cart for a moment there perhaps, although it doesn't matter when you've killed the entire enemy team. And so very good work. They're fairly disciplined, I guess, from Big Brain Gamer. Both sides did use a Valkyrie there. And so they pick up point B that they're without really any issue.
I dare say that fight for Wakanda wasn't a really good one, not because of the fact that they lost it, but because of where it took place. Big Brain Gamer pushed up so far that whether win or lose, it wouldn't have made much of a difference due to how far that payload was able to be pushed. uncontested.
Pulse Bomb does come out from Fizz and it does find Desmond, so a few casualties early here from Big Brain Gamers, but they do get a pick onto Fizz now. Whether they can capitalize on that to try and push the card a little bit further, but they might opt to group back at spawn. They have made it past point B here, and so they've got 2 minutes now to push it to point C. And they're probably hoping for a little bit of a time bank, only 30 seconds in the bank of Wakanda, so anything better than that's going to be an advantage, of course. Big Brain Gamers, and of course their worst case scenario is going to be getting to point C in overtime, because then of course they can't win this map. So they're going to try and look to do it in the next minute and 30 seconds as Twinks does get an early Deadeye kill there onto Refined Venus on the Mercy. Cordial with a trade onto the enemy Mercy and Fizz taking out the Genji there. So a few important picks. Both sides with a self-destruct on their own, finding their own targets, and well, Wakanda pushing Big Brain Gamers back to the spawn for another team fight in just a moment.
Yeah, that was a bit of a an interesting fight there. I think that it became a little bit of a scrappy fight when both of the Diva bombs were like deployed, and you know, you really roll the dice when you just throw out ults into the enemy team's ultimates, and yeah, in the end, Wakanda came out on top.
Huge advantage, of course, here now to Big Brain Gamers with so many ultimates online, and they're going to use a few of them early as the Genji Dragon Blade comes out, as well as the Lucio ultimate, and so that does pay off because they do get some early picks. Release time just D-Max there on the Diva, and so it's looking very good now for Big Brain Gamers. They're going to want to try and push this payload all the way before the overtime clock starts ticking, and so they're going to be hot on the heels of Wakanda as they're coming out of the spawn doors, but Twinks on this Doomfist once again isn't able to get anything, and so there's now members on the point contesting it with only 25 seconds left on the clock. It's going to be tight here for Big Brain Gamers. They are able to find the picks, and no one from Wakanda's able to contest. So both sides now have an opportunity to capture point A. They're not going to have much time to do it, but they have time, and so it's going to be Big Brain Gamers on the attack once again for their push.
Yeah.
Round 2, Queso.
And 11 seconds is negligible, I would say. I think that this is really going to be a matter of which team is able to put up better defense. If both of the teams opt for exactly what they ran on their previous defense, it's potentially going to go in the favor of Wakanda, who, as we saw with a great defense, were able to clutch it out. And so if they keep that same defensive composition, I think we can expect Wakanda to come out on top. So hopefully Big Brain Gamers, you know, change it up when they are on defense and are able to put something novel together, so that Wakanda are, you know, a little bit confused, a little bit taken by surprise, and that element can come into its own for only 60 seconds. So I think that's what we should be seeing.
Unfortunate Cordial teasing an attack Torbjorn there. Switching onto that Pharah for the attack, which makes far more sense. And it's going to be Twinks on the Reaper now with Fizz and a Pharah of their own. And so we're seeing a Moira Mercy comp on the defense now, as Desmond's still on the Lucio and Refined Venus on the Mercy. So a few minor changes on the side of Wakanda for this defense. And so with 40 seconds on the clock, that it picked Cordial onto Fizz. Very important. And it's going to be very difficult for Mercy to get the res onto it as well. So Big Brain Gamers now looking to follow up on that initial success, as there's 30 seconds left now on the clock. They do lose Cordial early. Desmond is able to get a hit onto Webs on the Mercy, on the Resurrect onto Cordial as Earthshatter comes out from Train Cat. Isn't able to find enough with it, I don't think. Seth the Human poking, trying to find a kill there onto DMT, and does find it. So Big Brain Gamers now, Fizz on the point, causing a little bit of havoc on the Tracer, but they might have done enough to start building up some percentage. But knowing Wakanda, they might try and come and stall this out a little bit. Doesn't look like they have the bodies to do it though. And so it's going to be Big Brain Gamers pushing the cart now in overtime.
Yeah, it would have been a little bit if they had tried to trickle on her and lost, then they would have essentially given a bunch of free movement. So it looks like one final fight here could be what Wakanda is looking for to finish this map.
Coalescence comes out from Billy Time, and the Dragon Blade comes out from Seth the Human, and he's not able to find anything. Well, he does find Train Cat. He was getting knocked back a little bit there. Twink's able to find a kill onto Desmond. And a few trades coming out now for both sides. The payload is still moving, although they are looking to contested Wakanda. They don't want to have this cart move much further as the rocket barrage comes out from Cordial, but he gets taken out by Fizz, and DMP gets awfully low and loses his life. Twinks, with that Death Blossom, loses his life, or isn't able to find anything with it, and it looks like Big Brain Gamers have done enough to push this cart a little bit further.
Yeah, that's really sad because as you saw there, all of Wakanda essentially tried to stall out that point on their own. You know, Fizz threw out a pulse bomb in early on, but it caught no one. Twinks tried to jump in and got booped around and used his Death Blossom to no avail. So a really unfortunate set of circumstances that perhaps they should have just regrouped, made one team push rather than, you know, trying to frag out with DPS alone.
This time Wakanda obviously very keen to hold point. Train Cat does take a lot of damage there. Cordial is able to take him out. A few ultimates coming out from both sides, but haven't found any kills. Twinks gets taken out though by Cordial. Cordial doing so much on this Baron, it's helping his team immensely, and so as I say that, he gets a pick onto the Mercy. Seth the Human finds 2 picks there, and I think this is going to be Big Brain Gamers taking point B.
Yeah, if I were Wakanda, I'd be very nervous now because Wakanda has Big Brain Gamer has set a really good score here with the 5 points in only a minute, and keeping this burning in overtime.
It's really impressive, and so what are Wakanda going to do to stop this now? They've used a few of their ultimates. The Coalescence does come out, but that's another Dragon Blade coming out from Seth the Human. He finds 3 with it. As the desperate Earth Shatter comes out from Train Cat, isn't able to get anything, and Seth the Human on this Genji is on fire at the moment. So it's looking very, very good now for Big Brain Gamers. Not very long to go. They're just going to need to hold Wakanda back a little bit at the spawn. Not really coming out, so they're grouping up a little bit and they're going to come out together, but Billy Time gets taken out by Cordial's Rocket Barrage. Twinks does find that a very important pick onto Cordial. And that Death Blossom doesn't find anything, but maybe so.
I think everyone from Big Brain Gamer was knocked off the point. I think that it wasn't so much a C9 so much as a denial.
Or which side took that one. So Big Brain Gamers perhaps, well, I guess Wakanda did enough to sort of distract them a little bit, but I would say that's very lucky for Wakanda that they didn't push it all the way.
Yeah, I mean, that being said, not only has Big Brain Game been able to push this an additional 2 points in 1 minute, considering they went into this with 11-second time disadvantage, to get almost to point C there. What I think it was about 5 meters off. Yeah. That is still a phenomenal effort.
And it's not something you often see on this map either.
Yeah, no, because as you said, like, to get off the payload and have just one person pushing it, becomes tenuous if that person is knocked off the point even for a few seconds. You know, that overtime just goes down very quickly, as you saw at the end there. So, do you think perhaps Wakanda have themselves to blame rather than Big Brain Gamers? No, definitely not. I think Big Brain Gamer knew what they were doing there. They really used that overtime to their advantage and pushed ahead further, got early picks, used ultimates before Wakanda regrouped, and as a result, they succeeded. And in this fight, looks like they're going to go for a Goats comp, so this is exciting. Wakanda might be able to
So very different comp from what we've seen from now. Billy Time is on, that Lucy, we haven't seen that yet. Twinks on Brigida, we haven't seen that yet. So they're going to be coming up to the high ground now as they take the right-hand side high ground together. But Vizra on that Winston almost found a pick on the Mercy there, separated from her team. So they're going to dive now down onto the point, but Mercy getting awfully low, but Vizra is very low as well there on 89 HP on high ground. Desmond does find a pick onto Fizz. And it's looking disastrous now for Wakanda. They're losing so many members and they've only got 19 seconds on the clock. Big Brain Gamers are pulling off an incredible defense now. With only 12 seconds, it's going to be very difficult for Wakanda to touch the point, let alone capture it. And so, 5 seconds now.
Fizz should be able to touch hopefully here. Yes, he's on.
Does gets taken out very quickly, and Webbs also gets taken out by that pulse bomb. So there's going to be very little Wakanda can do as they just all jump to their death onto the point. And that was a very impressive defense from Big Brain Gamers after a really good push. And so Big Brain Gamers.
Yeah,
Bit of an upset.
I know, that's the second map. They won Nepal with a very close game, and again here with a very close game on Nambani. Big Brain Gamer showing that they have what it takes, and they do beat their undefeated group leader, which I think evens up the stage. I think that makes 2 wins for Big Brain Gamer and 2 wins for Wakanda. So very exciting. I think it's very close, these games in this division, and I think that a testament really is to the Big Brain Gamer attack. That was phenomenal on that map there, Nambani. So Wakanda tried something different and novel with the bringing out for that map at least, for the with the goat style composition. However, as I said, Nambani is unique, and it's why I don't like it very much, because it's so dive oriented. You can't really go with the 9-bally death style comp on that first point attack because of so much aerial height. There's lots of high grounds and positions that the attacking team cannot go through. So yeah, in the end, Wakanda were just not able to capture that point, and Big Brain Gamer brought home the goods.
Well, it looks like we're going to be heading to Volskaya Industries now for map 3 in this 3-map series. Of course, Big Brain Gamers taking the first 2 maps, so they have won. Wakanda probably looking to save face a little bit now, as they're going to get a map win maybe at least in this series. And of course, they can do it. They're playing quite well. It's just Big Brain Gamers are adapting very well to Wakanda's play style. And Wakanda changing up their comp early in this series sort of caught Big Brain Gamers offside a little bit, but I think they're adapting really well. And so I think Wakanda are going to need to pull a rabbit out of a hat to win this map now, but it's not out of the question.
Yeah, and as I was saying with Nambani, doesn't really favour that goat style comp, but Volskaya, I think it's a little bit more viable. I know that it's also got a lot of sort of intricacies and a lot of high grounds, but if you're just on that point and you can deny perhaps if the enemy team is not running a defense with a double sniper, which it looks like they are not going to go for, opting for that single sniper, Big Brain Gamer. So potentially a goat's comp could work here, but it looks like Wakanda's just going to opt for a sort of classic dive style comp with the Widow of their own, which, it can work, definitely. It just very much depends on where the defending team sets up and which side the attacking team decides to, dive. I think that if you dive the wrong side and you're caught somewhere without your movement abilities, it's very easy for a dive defense team to jump on you, surround you, and take advantage of that. So that's what I'll be looking for on this map.
Alright, well, it's going to be Wakanda on the attack first here, and a pretty standard composition for them. Twinks on the Genji, of course. Fizz on the Widowmaker now, though. Seth the Human on the Widowmaker for the side of Big Brain Gamers, so a little bit different. Cordial now running the Tracer. Twinks takes a bit of damage early there from the Widowmaker, as he's going to look to flank around the back. So he's separating from his team. Wakanda are split up a little bit, and Twinks did get caught early by that Venom Mine, but Fizz on the Widowmaker takes out Mercy, takes off the enemy Widow, takes out Desmond on the Zenyatta. Both supports now down for Big Brain Gamers, and this is disastrous. Wakanda doing so much, and that was a very, very decisive fight win, Queso.
Yeah, kudos there to Fizz. He managed to get the Mercy down first, which is arguably the most important target. Main healer. Second healer doesn't output as much. Zen's Orb doesn't do much, so that was a big pick. But then to follow it up with the Widow kill, and then, clean everything essentially with the kill onto the enemy Zenyatta. That's really well done.
Blistering fast attack there, and Fizz is able to follow up with another pick on Seth the Human on the Widowmaker, and so Wakanda now looking to try and get a few more picks, but I think they're going to have to pull up jumps now and find their way out of that fight, because Queso, while that was happening, Wakanda were able to take a tick on the point.
Yeah, I know. I was watching it happen in real time. The Wakanda was just where there was one member, I believe it was, I think Twinks was on the point, and, the enemy team was just nowhere to be seen. They were just, doing their own thing.
I was thinking, poor Wakanda, that fight went really bad, but in actual fact, they didn't really put anything into it at all, and they got a free tick, and now so they're sitting on 39% on that point, so great result. Twinks is now in the back line here with that Dragon Blade, and he's going to want to find a few picks with it to open it up. He wants to say to Fizz, I can get early picks as well. So Fizz hasn't found anything yet, and that Dragon Blade does come out and find Seth the Human, once again the first to fall in this team fight. Twinks get challenged by Brigitte, but he does get the upper hand and takes her out. That self-destruct, not finding anything. Vizra does get a pick onto Weds though on that Mercy, as Desmond gets resurrected on the Brigitte. A bit of a brawl all around the point now. Brigitte is bringing out that ultimate there to try and provide a little bit of shield to the team, and that's probably going to be enough for Big Brain Gamer to hold that point. But it did look very good early there for Wakanda Queso.
Yeah, I think that they just, Big Brain Gamers are going to be able to win this without conceding too much more control percentage if they keep defending like that. They keep playing close together, taking good use of, Brigitte and her ultimate as they did there. And, Mercy's Valkyrie once it's up, then they should be right as rain to stall out this 4 minutes, hopefully. So, no complaints there.
Seth the Human finally gets his revenge there and is able to take out Fizz first. Probably not going to make him feel much better. The resurrect, of course, there from Weds. And Fizz gets his instant revenge there on Seth the Human. As Wakanda are now looking for an entry onto the point. Brigitte challenging Vizra there on that Winston, but he's able to jump out. And they've given up another tick, Big Brain Gamers. So they're not being very disciplined here now. With 73% now taken for Wakanda, and while they might lose this fight now, they're losing a few members. It's a very good result for Wakanda. Twinks does find a pick onto Benzi though. But I think Big Brain Gamers have probably done enough to hold. Okay, so this is it's not ideal giving up 3 ticks on a control point.
Well, no, not just because 3 ticks would be the whole point, but, no, I know what you mean. I think it comes down to, again, that mentality, though, that we saw on Numbani, which was, you can concede a bit of control percentage if it means the rest of the team is able to stay up, come back together, get their ultimates up or use them. So in that respect, I don't really see that as an issue. I think, as you can see here, Big Brain Gamer has 4 ultimates to Wakanda's 1, so that's a really good position to be in.
Wakanda have shown though that they don't need ultimates to win fights. So Twinks on this Doomfist does have that Meteor Strike if he needs it. The self-destruct does come out, and I think perhaps Big Brain Gamers have overcommitted with the ultimates a little bit here now as Twinks does come out with that Meteor Strike. Won't matter. Big Brain Gamers has clearly won this fight. They've got enough picks, but at what cost? They did use quite a number of ultimates to do that.
No one can hide from
Yeah,
my
they used
sight.
3, and that there is their 4th, but I'm not too worried for them. Mainly because you got the 1 ultimate that Wakanda had in the bank out, and they didn't really get much percentage of for their own, use. And I'm not so worried about ultimates, and as you said, Wakanda's good with taking points without ultimates. But Big Brain Gamer are good with, you know, using the right ones at the right time, and so I think that in the end this will be a really stalematey situation for quite some time. As you can see, we've already waited about, you know, 3-ish, 4-ish minutes here, so, you know, Wakanda, you know, again here with this control percentage. Someone's gonna need a touch. Okay. Thank you.
The human does get a pick there onto Train Cat. So they've lost a few minutes. That's a very big self-destruct. That's going to very much end this team fight. So perhaps only another couple of fights to go for Wakanda. But Big Brain Gamers perhaps maybe at this point need to start looking at the point and noticing when there's someone on, because only another tick and they're gonna give it up. So gotta be a bit more careful than they have been.
But like, look again, right? That's pretty much what I was saying earlier. Wakanda comes in, they use, what, 1 ultimate I think? Maybe they didn't even use any. They get a bit of control, a bit of percentage, but look, like, ultimates wise, Big Brain Gamer has everything ready, and Wakanda again struggling to get a purchase here.
Well, Wakanda are coming in now onto the point. A few ultimates coming out now for both sides. Valkyrie is out for Wakanda. No deaths at this stage, but sort of just a brawl on the point, helped by both sides of what's keeping everyone alive. And that meteor strike does come out, doesn't find anything. In fact, Twinks loses his life immediately after the meteor strike, and Big Brain Gamers are finding all the picks that they need. They are going to stall out. Well, I don't know who's contesting the point. Baby Diva, so that's going to be a bit of a difficult stall out for the Baby Diva there, but 15 seconds left. They probably are going to be able to contest this, but I'm not sure what they're going to be able to do. Of course, they don't have any ultimates. The Big Brain Gamers. Cordial's able to get a stick onto Train Cat, and that is very damaging for Wakanda as they lose Twinks very early. And so they're trying very desperately now, Wakanda, to try and take this point, but I don't think that there's anything that they're going to be able to do. That self-destruct doesn't find anything, and they're just slowly, one by one, losing their lives.
Yeah. It reminds me of that song, Another One Bites the Dust. Big Brain Gamer.
To be fair to Wakanda, they did look very good on that attack round up until the point where they weren't able to get past that second tick.
Yeah, I mean, I think to some extent it was very much Wakanda. Like, Big Brain Gamer is always getting those picks. Like, they get the first pick with the pulse bomb in that final round, and then Wakanda's Twinks jumps onto the point with the Doom Fist to get the overtime wick burning, but then you saw the Brigitte, Big Brain Gamer's Brigitte, I think it was Desmond, just smacked him into oblivion. And, you know, the Diva bomb was thrown out wildly from Wakanda. It doesn't get anything, and then Baby Diva, without her mech, was, you know, slapped around. So, you know, Wakanda trickling on a little bit each time, and you know, Big Brain Gamer picks them off one at a time, and they come ahead in this map. They didn't get the second. Wakanda didn't get the second point, so we won't be going to round 2 or round 3 rather, or anything like that. This is where this map is decided. So I think Wakanda is going to feel a little bit nervous going into this defense, and Big Brain Gamer should, rightfully so, be feeling quite proud of themselves.
Well, and they've got nothing to lose to at this point. They've already won this match. They've done a very good job holding Wakanda off the second point, and so they've got nothing to lose, and they're going to give this attack round their all. And I'm going to say that that positivity is going to help them, and I wouldn't be surprised if they take this map as well. So we're seeing standard compositions, of course, coming out again from both of these sides. Train Cat going to be on that Brigitte this time, and what happened there?
I think Fizz fell off the map. Like,
so, okay, well, I didn't say that. Twinks does get a pick onto Desmond, and it does get rezzed, but Twinks gets taken down by Cecil Human, and this is a very, very, very bad start for Wakanda. And
Damage
the
buff.
pain is self-inflicted as well. Fizz perhaps a mistake with a grapple hook at the start, not sure, but that very much hurt their defense. So
Yeah.
Big Brain Gamers are able to take this first point probably even quicker than Wakanda did at the start.
Yeah, and as you can see, 7 minutes to get 83%. I think that,
To be fair, Big Brain Gamers did hold for that long themselves.
very true, very true. So anything can happen.
Vizra, very low, dives in, loses his life. So perhaps Big Brain Gamers might try something here. I mean, they've got nothing to lose, so
Weapons systems overloaded.
might just wait for Vizra to
Hello.
come back and they'll go in together.
Much
Infraside almost up for Seth the Human, and a few other ultimates almost online as well on the side of Big Brain Gamers. Riptide nearly ready for Twinks, and that might be a saving grace.
Comme c'est aimable de ta part.
I'm on the
Ready to see
objective.
what
Rally
happens.
to
And
my
so
position.
Big Brain Gamers pushing in now, contesting that point.
Don't get caught.
Sniper duel happening here as Twinks does find another pick there onto Vizra. Does get resurrected though, so
I've reached the
Riptide does
objective.
come out from
Let's
Twinks, and it's going to
coordinate
need
our
to find
efforts.
one or two members of Big Brain Gamers to be impactful, and does find Seth the Human there at the back, and so probably going to be quite an important pick. But Vizra in Primal Rage whacks Fizz in the face, but that self-destruct does find Desmond there on that Zenyatta, and so Big Brain Gamers perhaps need to look for a way out, or they are putting a lot of pressure now. Cordy and Vizra working together so well now on the point. Vizra does get trapped by the Junkrat though. So they're still contesting, so they're putting on a lot of pressure now, Big Brain Gamers, but they are going to need to regroup and have another go. But a lot of pressure there, Queso, and they were looking very good on that attack.
Well, yes and no. My issue there was that they threw in lots of ultimates.
With that said though, they do have quite a number online now.
Yeah,
More than Wakanda.
that is true.
They are diving in once again now. Vizra does take out Fizz very, very early. That's going to be very important as they nearly take that first tick. A self-destruct does come out from Benzi, and it does find PMT, so that is huge. They take that initial tick to start building their percentage on the point. Vizra's able to demech Billy time there on that Diva. Getting all the kills they need. Vizra with another Primal Rage, slapping the Brigitte in the face. The Riptide does come out there from Twinks, isn't able to find anything, and he loses his own life. Fizz does find that Widowmaker, but it doesn't matter because Vizra on this Winston with that Primal Rage is able to find so many kills, and they are so close to getting that second tick. Self-destruct doesn't find anything. Cordial is able to find that kill onto Twinks with a pulse bomb, even if it is resurrected. Twinks trying to bring this one back a little bit with a kill onto Refined Venus, but healing is going to be depleted a little bit now for Big Brain Gamers, but Cordial is able to find a kill onto his Tracer counterpart. And Vizra on this Winston has not died for a very long time, and he finds a pick onto Twinks. That's a self-destruct once again, doesn't find anything! And Wakanda, get off the point! And Big Brain Gamers with a very good and strong attack there, very persistent Queso, and they're able to capture and win this series 3-0.
Yeah, well done to Big Brain Gamer there. They really did show that that you know they can stand up to the former leader of their division, and that you know they've equalised, and this is going to be a tightly contested game. Well done, you know, to certainly in this game to Fizz, a great performance. You know, despite the fact that they lost, he had some great moments there, and Twinks as well. You know, amazing Doomfist and a bunch of other DPS, and DMT as well creates a lot of space on that Winston. So you know, there's lots of potential in both these sides, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of these teams in the future, hopefully at finals.
Absolutely.
In a couple of weeks.
Okay, so it's been a pleasure once again, and thank you for streaming this match. I'm Swift, and we'll see you all again next time.
Ciao.